Hey everyone, Launchpad Communications here, and today I really want to talk about defining your brand and branding in general. These are some really simple, easy, basic tips that will help you a lot with your branding. A lot of people are kind of like, branding, what the hell's that? This will help you out, all right? Hope this helps. So what I'm going to do is basically go through like a checklist, all right? So we'll go through a few things. I'll go through, say, 5 or 6, the top 5 greatest hits, what's going to help you out, and then we can go from there, all right? Okay, so this is applicable to pretty much all brands, all businesses, but this is more so for people who are like the face of their brand. You know what I mean? Like if you want to have, like me, you want to put your mug on the camera so people can see you and stuff like that, this is really applicable to you, but there's a lot of this is applicable to other businesses as well, all right? Okay, so number 1 is to define your brand and the beliefs and values of your brand. Now, this might sound a little bit lame, kind of, but it's really important. You really want to sit down and just identify what the values are of your brand as far as what you want to achieve and what you want to do, okay? So just a real good, solid definition of your brand, okay? Now, you can just go nuts with this. Just sit down. I advise people just sit down by yourself, take some time out, have a coffee, tea, whatever it is you want to have, and just write it down and just let the words flow out and just write it like no one else is going to read it. All right, a lot of people will stop or stumble or falter because they're like subconsciously thinking that someone else is going to read it and they're worried. Don't worry about it. Just write it like no one else is going to read it. All right, and you really want to make sure that those values and beliefs come from here too, okay? Here and then here. Like it's your brand, it's your company, it's a representation of you. So you really want to define those, all right? That's point number 1. All right, number 2 is to identify the strengths of your brand. I hate the word strength because it's hard for me to say, but you've really got to identify the strengths of your company, of your brand, okay? So you've got to like convince people to give you their money, to buy things, to invest in you as a person for your product or your service. So you've really got to be able to kind of like identify the strengths that you have, okay? So again, write this like no one else is going to read it. Really write it down. There's another old marketing thing called SWOT, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So I won't worry about the O and the T, but for this, write down the strengths. And I always find that it's good just to have another little list where you write down the weaknesses too, where you might. Like a weakness could be, a strength could be you're really good at doing local stuff. Like, you know, we've got our shipping and our logistics down locally, but a weakness might be internationally, we don't know what we're doing. You know what I mean? So it's not like trying to be harsh or anything. It's just about being honest. It's a business. You know what I mean? So really identify those, okay? All right, number 3, we're there already. The next one is to define your target audience or your target market, okay? You've really got to be, if you've got a product, right, or a service, you've really got to be able to define who your target market is. Who are you selling to? Who do you want to buy your products? Who's going to be interested in your products? Who's going to be interested in your services? Who's going to be the people that are going to give you money for your brand or your product or your service or whatever it is, okay? You've really got to define that. Now, can be easy, can be narrowed down, can be quite broad. Like if you've got a big company like Kmart, for example, their target market is massively broad. Like they sell stuff for babies, they sell stuff for teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, massive. But they've got a lot of products. So you can make it easier if you just kind of define what your product or your service is and just think about who's going to actually go for that. You know what I mean? So like TikTok initially, I don't know where you're watching this, but I do videos on TikTok. Now, a couple of years ago, if someone said to me, you should do TikTok, I'd be like, man, that's just like teenage kids doing whatever, dances and stuff like that. Forget about it. That's, you know, a little bit ignorant of me to think that that's all it is anyway. But that was their target market. Like a lot of the people that were doing TikTok videos or anything on TikTok were doing those videos. And they were known as TikToks. Come and do a TikTok with me. And, you know, we're going to do this and whatever. Okay? But your target market can be anyone, any age, anything at all. You've really got to think about your product or your service, who's going to buy it, and then define it from there. I'll do another video on defining a target market. There's a lot of things to say. I wanted to try and keep this brief to a checklist. I'll do another video on this, defining your target market. But if you just think about who, why, where, when, and your service or product, that'll help you out a lot. All right, so really you want to define your audience, define your target market, who's going to be interested in you and your stuff. All right, number 4 is really important too, and that's like you want to define your brand story. So how you're actually going to convey yourself, your product or your service online, offline, across to your audience. You know what I mean? Some people, their thing is like they're very loud, they might swear a lot, like say Gordon Ramsay. You see him, you instantly think of swearing at people, angry, loud, whatever. That's his gig, you know what I mean? That's how he kind of does his thing. That's his brand story, so to speak. Some people don't show their faces, some people do voiceovers. I'm always on camera doing stuff like with my videos. Some people don't want to do that. So you've really got to define like that kind of the way you want to portray yourself, your product or your service across, all right? And again, just get a bit of paper and really just kind of write down and just be open with yourself. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. I know I've said it a few times already, but just write like no one else is going to read it. Don't worry about it, all right? Just kind of write it down, like what you want to do and how you want to kind of tell people about you. Like, and imagine if you were at a party and you said to someone, "Oh, I'm starting a business," or whatever, and they said to you, "Tell me about your business." Write down what you would say to that person, all right, and do that, okay? And then you can implement the points in that into your business, all right? That might be another one for another more extensive video too. There's a lot more to that, but you know what I mean. All right, now again, just quickly, I should say, in relation to that last point, as well as about like creating, like finding your kind of brand story and your voice to portray what you're doing and where you are, is to design the look that you're going to put across too. You know what I mean? Now, your look isn't, if you're going to show your face, it isn't just like your face. Like, who cares what you look like? It's all good. But it's more like the color scheme, the pace. Like, do you want bang, 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 or too quick? Or do you want it kind of slow, tell a story? The design of your brand is really important. And it's not just about like a logo and a color, even though they're applicable and they're important, don't get me wrong. It's the overall aesthetic of it as well. And I know that can sound like a bit of a toss. Like, yeah, man, like my aesthetic is like autumn leaves. Don't worry, I get it, you know what I mean? But you've really got to kind of define it so you can, actually, which brings me to my next point. Actually, yeah, I was going to stop and do another point. I'm going to roll straight into it because my last point is about being consistent. That's probably the main thing I say to people all the time with their brands and with their, social media, their business, all that kind of stuff. Just be consistent. Post stuff. You know what I mean? People say, "Oh, I've got nothing to post." If you're your brand, post stuff about you. What are you doing? Like, what's going on today? Where are you? What are you doing? Why are you there? Have a little yak about things. You know what I mean? You've really got to be consistent with things and try to post a few times a day on every different social media. Like, twice a day is great if you can do like a morning and a evening, late afternoon type of thing, and just see how it works. See what your views are like, see what your reach is like, see if you getting to the audience you want to get to, and just go from there, all right? But the main thing is to be consistent. All right. Now, I hope this helps. This is just, there's so many things with branding to take into account. This is not like the be-all, end-all type of list or anything like that. I can hear people out there going, "Oh, you didn't talk about whatever." All right, I know. This is just like a greatest hits. So if you're kind of unsure of what you're doing, so to speak, with your branding straight off the bat, these are some tips that will really help you out. And they're just the first things that you kind of want to address, all right? Now, if you're watching this on anything but TikTok, I do lives on TikTok sporadically, but pretty much once or twice every day. And they are just small business, side hustle, startup Q&A sessions. So feel free to jump on and ask me, all right? I don't know everything, but I know a fair bit. If I can help you out, awesome. Jump on if you're starting a business and just quiz me, all right? TikTok Lives. Take care. I will see you all soon. I hope this helps. See you soon.